This trip is a first for me. Actually, it's a lot of firsts for me. The biggest of which is, believe it or not, I have never camped solo before. I've always camped with friends or family, or of course Christine, who usually comes with me on these trips. And Christine is at home this weekend because she don't like the cold. And it's probably a good thing that she didn't come out because it is cold. It's actually colder than I was expecting. It is the heat of the day right now, and I use that term loosely because it is 36 degrees with the sun up, and so I don't know how cold it's going to get tonight, but everything is frosted. The ground is basically frozen here. So this may set a new record for me personally for coldest night of camping. The other thing that's new for me is I am sleeping in the Lexus, and I'll show you a little bit later kind of what that setup looks like. And so it's going to be a little bit different, but I think with how cold it is, it's going to be nice being in the truck. I don't have a diesel heater or anything like that, but I do have a lot of layers, a minus 25 sleeping bag, and a heated blanket. Oh, and the other thing that's going to make this a new experience for me is I have never camped this late into November, and the challenge is going to be daylight because the sun is going to be setting at like 4:30 this afternoon, and it's 2:30 right now, so we got about 2 hours of daylight left, and then it's not going to rise again until about 7:30 in the morning. And so that is just a lot of darkness. It's going to be a little bit of how do I fight the boredom for a period of dark that long. So it's going to be a lot of firsts, and I think I'm going to learn a lot. So it's going to make the most of this last 2 hours of daylight before things get really dark and really cold. One of the best ways to keep warm right now is just to keep moving and keep working. And got about an hour and a half of daylight left, so got to get this fire going. All right, well, as I was eating dinner, the sun set and it was spectacular, illuminating this peak behind me, and it turned it bright red and it was glowing in the reflection of the river. So not a bad show for dinner. But now that the sun has set, it has cooled off quite a bit. And considering it was already cold to begin with, it's gonna be a cold night tonight. And so I just threw on another layer. I've got 4 layers on up top, but honestly, I am feeling great. I'm super warm, and sitting by the fire is really nice. So I think it's gonna get real dark real quick, and I'm just gonna hang out by the fire for a little bit and try to stay warm before heading into the truck. I have a pretty unique setup, I think. I haven't seen it before in the truck, and so I'm gonna be able to hang out in there, I think comfortably, but I guess the real test will be how I feel about this in the morning. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Well, the fire is dying out, and so it's getting a little bit unpleasant outside. So I'm gonna move into what I'm gonna call my living room. I promised earlier that I would share something that was pretty unique with what I've done to the truck and this setup, and I'm really pretty excited about this. So I have basically brought my laptop with me so that I can watch some movies, TV shows. I've downloaded a couple of movies to watch, and I have it sitting on what is basically like an airplane seat tray. It's the best way I can describe it. It's from Amazon. It's really nothing special, but with the driver's seat pushed all the way forward, I've got a ton of room back here. It's super comfortable, and I've downloaded some movies to watch. And so that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of the evening. And then I've got an electric blanket that I brought with me as well. So if it gets a little bit cold, I'll just throw that electric blanket on top of me and watch a couple of movies before I call it a night, because it's way too early to go to sleep, but it's just too cold and sad and dark out to be outside. So that's how I'm gonna occupy myself for the next couple hours before it's properly bedtime. So we'll see how it goes. But right now, I am feeling very optimistic that this is going to be genius. Well, good morning. It dipped down into the 20s last night, so it was a really good test of cold weather camping and of camping inside the Lexus. And I have to say, it went really, really well. I thoroughly enjoyed yesterday, and then once the sun went down, being able to hang out in the back seat and put that little tray table down and watch a movie. I did some video editing, and I just hung out back there until probably like 9:30 before I eventually climbed into my sleeping bag and called it a night. Comfortable sleeping in the truck, maybe more comfortable than sleeping in a tent, honestly. And so, yeah, really happy with how this experiment turned out. Of course, I wish Christine was here with me, but camping solo definitely has its own charm, and I'll be doing more of it this winter, I'm sure, which I'll have to do because Christine is not gonna come out with me during the winter. But anyway, the clouds are starting to roll in a little bit. There is rain in the forecast for a few hours from now, so I'm not gonna stick around too long. I'm just gonna enjoy my coffee and soak in the views for a little bit longer before I head back. But I hope you enjoyed coming along on this experiment. I would say it was a success, and thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out this playlist next, because we've got a ton more videos exploring around the Pacific Northwest. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.